Let me go check if the link's available. Yep, here it is. Okay, the link is shared. We can start. Martin, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I've been working on the checkpoint sync. One thing that I was trying to do is to download the initial block, which is the one that corresponds to the beacon state that we are getting. But for some reason, when I'm asking for peers for that block route, I'm not getting like a response. I left it running for a few minutes, and I don't know if it's because they don't have the block because it's old, or maybe I'm doing something wrong by asking for the wrong block route. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna like look deeper into this. But yeah, by the way, my PR is still up for review. But yeah, I'm working on this stuff right now. That's it for me.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry for the delay on the review. I was gonna get it reviewed yesterday, but I wasn't able to. So I will do that today, but definitely today. Okay, awesome.
It already has my approval. The
Nice.
PR about for the fork choice store, I think it was.
Cool then. Yeah, you can be merged if that's the case. Thanks, Thomas. Okay. Any other updates?
No, that's it for me.
Perfect. Paul, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So this morning I was mainly focusing on revisiting some PRs that had been made by some of the contributors. So I went through that and tried to give some advice on the implementations on some PRs that were open but still in draft. And then as discussed yesterday a little bit with Martin, I tried to go through the different open issues and try to cut down on some of these issues because some of these functions are pretty complex to implement and they require the implementation of multiple like internal functions, like helper functions. So I'm potentially thinking about cutting them down into like sub issues where we can implement firstly the helper functions and then implement the full function from them because the work to implement the full function sometimes is just like the implementation of six large functions that compose one big function. So I think it's a little bit a lot for one contributor to start implementing such a big functionality. So I've been working on that and then implemented one function that is pretty simple, which is process historical summaries. And I just have a problem with the hashing algorithm, the SSZ hash list tree root. Um, so was discussing a little bit with Thomas about like just how to fix this error, but anyway, the PR should be ready. I just need the hash list tree root to work.
Okay, cool. What was the name of the function you were working on?
Process historical summaries update. It's a very small one. It was just as discussed with Martin to get like quick, like small victories and then go up and up. It's just like this was a pretty simple one to implement, so I implemented it in 1 hour, and now I just trying to make the test pass, um, but maybe Thomas can answer. I'm trying to use hash list reroute, but it's returning me an error even though I'm passing the right parameters and telling me that I'm passing a list and an integer, and it's telling me, oh, you're passing a list and an integer, and it's incorrect, even though it's the spec of the function. And Thomas told me, oh, but it's maybe because it's not having enough information. You should pass also the module, so use the typed version of the hash list tree root. But I'm not sure what is the module that I should pass to this function. So maybe Thomas, you know on the top of your head, Gruner. If not, then I'll research.
We should implement something similar to transaction where we have a root in a root module like SSC types root in Elixir, and then implement the do a type alias like with transactions in Rust that translates that module into a specific Rust type, and then add that type to the macro in the NIF, so that it can properly treat the 32 byte roots. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
basically we have to implement that functionality. It's not really there.
I see.
Just as a quick question, does this involve implementing both Elixir and Rust parts, or is it just like the Elixir side?
No, both, because I think we already have the type in Rust. Right now it's called bytes 32. I think no root. We should just add a type for Elixir. Yeah.
Yeah, this is also one of the moments where we wish we had the Elixir SSZ implementation, right? This would be a non-issue, I think. Yeah, I even think that once the bootcamp already started informally, we didn't have like a formal introduction yet. I'm trying to get all of the paperwork finished, so sorry about the delay. It's going to take like one day more, maybe. So yeah, sorry, I went off rails with the topic, but we may want to suggest taking the SSZ implementation to one of the bootcamp members, because it's like a very, very interesting Elixir exercise, and it's also a very useful thing to have to avoid having the type of issue that Paul is having right now. Like as of right now, Paul, I would suggest that you implement that, because unless, like Thomas, you think that's an extremely difficult task, but I think it's very similar to what has already been done with transactions. So if you can like kind of copy that structure, not like literally copy paste, of course, but like copy the same way of working, but instead of transactions, you use the base type that you're working with. I think that you should arrive to a successful state. And if you have any questions, like you can ask in Telegram, and if it gets like really messy, we can start a tech discussion or whatever. We can jump into a call and help you. Does that sound good? Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, sure. I don't have anything else to share. That should be alright.
Yeah, that's plenty anyway. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a very good idea to start thinking about that. Just because there's quite a lot of hashing that will happen, especially if we implement all the functions of the state transition. And I think that might not be the only time where we need to do something like that. So um, I thought about like the type, so I tried and stuff, but also because I knew about it. But some new contributors, they will get lost and they won't understand really why it won't work. I think because they don't really know the code base yet. So I think it would be difficult for them to understand. Okay, oh, it doesn't work because it's not implemented on the Elixir side, and I also need to touch at the SSD NIF and go on the Rust side and implement the thing there and stuff. I think they would never really think about it. So it would be good to start thinking about this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it goes without saying, but contributors, in and out of the bootcamp, are always welcome to ask any questions they have, as big or small as they may be. We're here to help, and we're here to like all learn together. So like even if you have any kind of unknown error you cannot identify, like we can put that on Telegram or whatever. And if the discussion gets too big, we can always defer that to an issue. But yeah, that's in the bigger, broader picture. In this specific case, I agree that we should have the we should have the SSL implementation in Elixir soonish. Not as an urgent stuff, but having someone work on that would be amazing. Okay, Tomas, do you want to go next?
By the way, sorry, it's just a very small comment. So it seems we have figured out the SSC of containers, but we are struggling with SSC of basic types. Isn't there like a, because it seems like we are fixing like one by one use cases of basic types, and couldn't we like just create like maybe something that just solves the basic types issue? Well, yeah, but it's true that it could also be a mix between basic types and containers. Anyway, sorry, it's not for this discussion, I guess, but was just thinking out loud.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. Like if this goes too far, we can defer this technical discussion to afterwards. But I think that at this point we have encountered this issue, the amount of times that like enough times that it makes us realize that I think at this point it will be easier to start implementing the Elixir alternative to continue adding boilerplate to the NIF. I think so. I don't have a way to measure it, but it's my intuition. But we can definitely discuss that in a separate meeting. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, Tomas, do you now go next?
Yeah, well, last Thursday I finished the working on the migration. Well, not finished. I finished most of the base refactoring of the, like moving all the functionality from the NIF, the lib2p NIF to the port. Now today I'm gonna work on integrating it with the rest of the node. Maybe I'll need to split that into two PRs. One that has some functionality that's still missing from the port, and after that integrate it with the whole node and remove the NIF, or at least its calls from inside the node's code. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Also, today I just did a general review of PRs. I think I reviewed 3 of them. Yeah. And that's all.
Cool. Thank you. That's great progress. As of me, I've mostly been handling some paperwork, some very boring paperwork, and now I'm moving on to what I was working yesterday before I started with that, which is I will finish reviewing. I will finish reviewing Tomas's PR on the ports migration, which I started reviewing yesterday, and I will finish that today. I was going to review the one by Martin, but I think that it's already in place if you, Tomas, reviewed it. And then I will go, if I ran out of PRs to review, I will go back to finishing the spec test runners refactor that I was working with. So that's my goals for today. And and I also want to make sure that I will try that at the end of the day we can coordinate a daily a moment for each day, so that we can have dailies with the bootcamp members, because we have members from all over the world, and coordinating the timelines is not as trivial as it is with us. So I will try to get that finished as soon as possible as well, so that we can start having daily meetings with everyone, which would be, I think, that the best way to have everyone on board working in the project as soon as possible. And that's it for me. Do we have any final comments or questions? All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And we'll see you all tomorrow.